My boyfriend is taking a shower in the bathroom. I was playing with my phone and habitually forwarded a funny story on Weibo to him. However, I noticed that his phone placed on the table didn't ring. I clicked to check and found that he was currently logged into a Weibo secondary account that I didn't know about. The ID was Love Cindy the most. And Cindy is the name of his ex-girlfriend. Today is the 5th anniversary of my relationship with Owen. He just picked me up after work, and we went to have dinner and watch a movie together. At the moment, he is taking a shower in the bathroom. And I'm curled up on the sofa, bored and scrolling through my phone. Suddenly, Heathy filled me. I came across a funny story and couldn't stop laughing. I long pressed it and forwarded the Weibo post to Owen. This is my habit. No matter what funny or interesting things I see, I will share them with him. I know very well how important the desire to share is for a couple. The reason why Owen and I have been in a relationship for so long is also due to the fact that both of us have been working hard to maintain this relationship. Owen is in the bathroom, and his phone is placed on the table in front of me. However, after I forwarded the Weibo post to him, there was no notification sound on the phone. Owen doesn't have a habit of muting his phone, especially for the apps I often use. He will keep the notification sound so that he can reply to my messages in a timely manner. Somehow, I picked up his phone. Owen allows me to look through his phone casually. When we first started dating, I checked it carefully many times. And everything was normal. He is polite and has a great sense of propriety with everyone. My trust in him gradually became 100, so I rarely checked his phone. I clicked on Owen's phone, and it wasn't muted. So why wasn't there a notification sound? I frowned and clicked into his Weibo. Then, let out a low sigh. The next second, I stared blankly at his Weibo name. This was a secondary account I had never seen before. With the ID Love Cindy the most. My name is Violet. And Cindy is the name of his ex-girlfriend. It's hard to imagine what this feeling is like. I felt as if I had fallen into an ice cave, and my heart ached as if it were being pricked by dense needles. My fingers trembled involuntarily. I forcibly suppressed the emotions that were about to make me break down, took a deep breath, and clicked into the homepage of this account, holding back my tears. I took a quick look and memorized the ID. When Owen came out of the bathroom, I was already lying in bed. I turned on my side with my back facing his side. Owen leaned over, and his fresh and pleasant scent filled my whole body. Then, the fret out. A smiling voice rang in my ear. Violet, are you still pretending to be asleep? Owen is almost the person who knows me best in the world. He can tell at a glance whether I'm asleep or not. He hugged me and held me in his arms. I nestled in his arms. My mind still immersed in the pain just now, but still holding a glimmer of hope. I hadn't had time to look at the specific content of the Weibo posts. Maybe he just forgot to change the name? Owen clearly loves me. And I never doubted that. Maybe boys are more careless. Maybe he has long forgotten the name Cindy. Maybe I shouldn't have peeked at his Weibo secondary account. Everyone has their privacy. I was lost in wild thoughts, trying to comfort myself and find excuses for Owen. After a while, I gently broke free from his embrace. I deliberately used a muffled voice and said, Owen, turn off the light for me quickly. I'm so sleepy. Okay. He sighed helplessly. In the middle of the night, listening to the steady breathing of the person beside me. After confirming that Owen was really asleep, I carefully took out my phone and registered a Weibo secondary account. Then, let out a low sigh. Using this account, I clicked into the account with the ID Love Cindy the most. I took a deep breath, as if preparing to await the judgment of death. March 13, 2018. I broke up with Cindy. I'm really feeling so bad. So bad. It feels like I can't catch my breath. I really love her so much. Will she change her mind only when I achieve success and fame? June 27, 2018. I met a girl today. She smiles just like Cindy. November 3, 2018. Cindy said that she won't come back. I'm with this girl now. Her name is Violet. And she loves me very much. May 18, 2019. Today is Violet's birthday. I accompanied her to the amusement park. Cindy suddenly called. I secretly answered it in the toilet. Cindy said that she missed me a bit. I was really, really happy. I said that I missed her too. But we couldn't go back. I already have a girlfriend. And I'm accompanying her to celebrate her birthday at the amusement park. Cindy cried. It was the first time I heard her cry so sadly. Does that mean she really cares about me? August 1, 2020. Cindy. I went to a concert with Violet today. I once promised you that I would propose to you at a concert. But I broke my promise. June 11, 2021. Cindy. It turns out that you lied to me. You didn't leave me because I had no money. It was because you were sick. Your mother came to me and borrowed medical expenses from me. I transferred the money. You must get better soon. September 9, 2023. I talked to Cindy on the phone again today. I'm happy. That's where his posts ended. I read them carefully. One by one. I met Owen at a friend's party. He was tall, handsome, and gentle. Many people at the party focused their eyes on him. However, he just stared at me, and then said, "You look really nice when you smile." My face turned red immediately. After that, we got together naturally. Just like every couple in a relationship, there was no bitter love plot. And of course, there was no sweet spoiling like in an idol drama. We were just having a warm and serious relationship. I loved him with all my heart and made great efforts to manage this relationship. I thought he was equally sincere. Today is the 5th year of our relationship. I was still looking forward to our future. I even prepared a 5th anniversary gift but hadn't had the chance to give it to him yet. Owen's Weibo secondary account made me face the reality. The love of these 5 years was just an illusory bubble he fabricated. Like a bubble, it shattered completely. The next day, I pretended not to know anything and got up as usual, made breakfast for him, and tied his tie. Sure enough, Owen didn't notice anything. He smiled and leaned over to ask for a good morning kiss. I was stunned for a moment and dodged it awkwardly. Owen stopped and stood there looking a bit aggrieved. "I've rinsed my mouth already, Violet." I was silent for 2 seconds. For a moment, I wanted to lay everything out clearly, scold him severely, and then break up with him cleanly. But I knew that I couldn't do that yet. In the end, I still put on a smile that was no different from usual and pushed him playfully, saying, "Stop making trouble. Go and eat quickly, or we'll both be late later." I clearly saw that and let out a sigh of relief. Owen went out. I pretended to go to work a bit later. But actually, I took a leave of absence and stayed at home to pack my things. After packing, I just sat in the room and cried. From yesterday until now, I've been on the verge of a mental breakdown. After being together for 5 years, we were basically no different from family members. My original family was in a poor situation. After my parents divorced, they each formed a new family. I'm introverted and have few friends. Owen is the only one who has always taken the initiative to get close to me and warm my heart. He is basically my entire spiritual support. I thought dully that I should break up, but what should I do if I break up? Do I have the heart to do it? Owen has occupied my entire life in these 5 years. He has played the roles of lover, friend, and family member. I also want to be a free and easy leading lady. But in fact, I'm just an indecisive ordinary person. If I break up now, I have to find a new rental house, move, withstand the mental torture after the breakup, and accept the fact that there will be no one by my side. I think that perhaps many girls persuade themselves to forgive their boyfriends for flirting and cheating again and again because of these reasons. I silently put the packed things back in their original places and then made a decision in my heart. I have to wait until the day when I have the ability to completely move on and handle the subsequent matters and emotions before breaking the peace. And those who cheat should always be given some punishment. 3. Before Owen got off work, he habitually called me to tell me what he wanted to eat for dinner. Owen can't cook, and I usually do the cooking. He would tell me what he wanted to eat every day before getting off work, and then I would go to the nearest supermarket to buy groceries and then go home. However, Owen didn't get a positive answer from me today. I said, "I'm eating out today. You can cook for yourself." Owen's voice of reporting the menu was abruptly interrupted. He hesitated for a moment and asked in disbelief, "Who are you eating with?" You don't have any friends. After saying that, Owen immediately realized that this sentence was a bit harsh. He added, Violet, are you tired because you didn't rest well? I'll take you to eat hot pot today. Are you still at the company? I'll come and pick you up. My patience was exhausted, and my voice was calm to the point of being a bit cold. No need. I said I'm eating out. You can eat by yourself. Before he could react, I hung up the phone. I went to a Japanese restaurant that I had wanted to go to for a long time but was reluctant to go to by myself. I found that there were quite a few people eating Japanese food alone in the restaurant. Eating alone and exploring restaurants may be a very normal thing for migrant workers wandering in a foreign place. I picked up a piece of salmon and put it in my mouth. The soft and delicate texture filled my mouth, and the delicious food cured some of my depressed emotions. I ate while thinking about what to do next. Owen and I originally planned to get engaged next month, but a few days ago, he suddenly went back on his word and told me that he wanted to strive for a few more years to give me a better life. I was very touched at that time. Seeing this, Owen also reminded me to be more thrifty in terms of food, clothing, and daily expenses because the wedding would require a lot of savings. When he said this, he looked at me hesitantly. Violet, you know that since your parents don't care about you, you definitely don't have a car, a house, or a dowry. I nodded, feeling a bit embarrassed. What Owen said was the truth, and it made me feel even more inferior. In fact, my salary is not low. It's even a bit higher than Owen's. He also has the habit of handing over his salary. So I've been in charge of the money all these years. I haven't spent much. Except for the necessary daily expenses. I basically saved it all. Owen wants to buy decent clothes, recharge his games, and he loves photography. So he wants to buy all kinds of mechanical equipment and electronic products. And I have almost no hobbies and don't spend much money. So I've never refused him. I even take the initiative to help him choose and buy them. However, Owen's meager salary was far from enough to cover his expenses. Almost all the extra money came out of my own salary. The so-called joint savings of the two of us were actually just the money I had saved bit by bit from my own salary. With these thoughts in mind, after finishing my Japanese food, I went to the nearby shopping mall and strolled around. I bought a lot of things that I used to like but thought were unnecessary and couldn't bear to buy before. Of course, I used the card that was supposed to be for our marriage to pay for them. What a joke. I don't plan to marry him anymore. So what's the problem with spending my own money? With this thought in mind, I felt no sense of guilt when buying things. Just as I was carrying bags full of purchases and preparing to go back, I saw a familiar figure in a luxury store of brand C. It was Owen. I was surprised for a moment, and then quickly hid my body to avoid being discovered by him. Because there was also a petite woman following behind him. She had a pure and beautiful face, and there was a sickly look about her. She was leaning against Owen's arms in a sweet and docile manner, pointing at the salesperson to show her a bag. Then she looked up and said something to Owen. Immediately, Owen was all excited and ready to pay for it. I sneered and quickly guessed the identity of this woman. She was Owen's first love ex-girlfriend. The person he had written hundreds of texts about on Weibo to remember and record. Cindy. I carried a canvas bag worth only tens of yuan to work every day, just because Owen said we should save money for our marriage. Once, I suddenly saw a bag from a niche brand that I really liked, which cost 1,000 yuan. Just as I was about to buy it, Owen said, "What's the use of buying these useless things? Don't be brainwashed by the consumerism on the internet." I was a bit disappointed at that time. And in the end, I still didn't buy it. But now, just because Cindy pointed at it, Owen was going to buy that bag worth tens of thousands of yuan without hesitation. I felt a surge of anger burning in my heart, not because of jealousy, but because I felt that all the things I had sacrificed were not worth it. And I was angry that Owen thought I didn't deserve to have such things. Wait a minute. Owen only earns 8,000 yuan a month, and he has to hand over his salary every month. Where did he get so much money? A strange suspicion popped up in my mind. Could it be that he was using my supplementary card? Ever since Owen said he wanted to buy photography equipment, I had opened a supplementary card for him. There were occasionally expenses of tens of thousands or several thousand yuan. But considering that photography equipment was generally expensive, I didn't suspect anything. With these thoughts in mind, I quickly took out my phone and set a limit on his supplementary card. I also took a photo of the two of them being affectionate in the luxury store, by the way. It might come in handy someday. Only after I finished all these did I look up and continue watching. Sure enough, at this moment, Owen took out that supplementary card and handed it to the salesperson. However, the salesperson swiped the card several times but couldn't get it to work. Owen was a bit embarrassed and kept repeating that there must be something wrong with their machine. So the salesperson changed to another machine. But the result was the same. Seeing this, other people in the store couldn't help but sneer. Owen's face turned pale and then flushed with anger. "Cindy, why don't you pay for it first? There seems to be something wrong with my card." Owen looked at Cindy in a flattering way and asked cautiously. However, Cindy's face turned even uglier, and her expression immediately turned cold. In the end, neither of them paid, and they slunk out of the luxury store. I watched this farce with cold eyes. At the same time, a plan was slowly taking shape in my heart. When I leisurely carried the large pile of things I bought back home, Owen was already waiting for me at home, looking at the bags full of my purchases. His already unpleasant face turned even more livid. "Violet, where have you been? Why can't I use my supplementary card anymore? Do you know how much face you made me lose today? Didn't we agree to save money? Why did you buy so many things?" Before I could even put down my things, he started scolding me harshly. I slowly swayed the shopping bag and tilted my head to look at him. "I went shopping today. I haven't been shopping for a long time. Your supplementary card can be used. It's just that there isn't enough balance. Look. I've spent all the money. So of course you can't swipe it." Owen looked at me in disbelief. "What do you mean? You spent all the money? There was at least 500 yuan in this card, right? This is the money for our marriage. How dare you use it without permission?" I laughed. It seemed that Owen had indeed been calculating me for many years. There was indeed still more than 500 yuan in my card. He said he didn't care about the money and that I could spend it as I liked. But in fact, he had calculated everything clearly. I said slowly, "What 500 yuan? You only earn 8 yuan a month. Even if we split the rent, water, and electricity bills equally, you'll only have 3 yuan left. Not to mention the daily food expenses. When did you ever save any money? Did you spend 20 yuan from the card this month? What did you buy? That's all my money. You spend so much every month. And the savings must have been used up long ago." Owen opened his mouth in surprise and murmured, "How is that possible?" However, what I said was very reasonable, and he couldn't refute it. Owen ruffled his hair irritably. He seemed to calm down a bit and also noticed that my tone was off. He moved closer to me. "Violet, I didn't mean to be harsh on you. It's just that you suddenly bought so many things today. And I was in a hurry," he said tentatively. "Is it really true that there's no money in the card? Then what will we do in the future?" I nodded solemnly and looked at him. "You spend so much. Don't you remember?" Owen avoided my gaze guiltily. He looked around and his eyes lit up when he saw my shopping bags. "Violet, why don't you return all these things? Since you just bought them, you can definitely return them. I really want to buy a new camera. Violet, please agree to it." I was stunned. I really didn't expect Owen to say such a shameless thing. I guess he lost face in front of Cindy today and was eager to buy something with money to make her happy. I actually played the fool for so long. It's true that love can blind people. I gave him a disdainful look and carried my things back to my room. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Owen staring thoughtfully at my shopping bags. I closed the door of the room and smiled slightly. The fish was about to take the bait. I flipped through Owen's main Weibo account again and again. Most of the posts recorded our daily life and love. There were sweet moments, happy moments, and also moments of quarreling and making up. This account had posted much more than his secondary account. 5 years. Thousands of Weibo posts. I read them one by one. As if I had relived these 5 years all over again. Was Owen so repulsive from the very beginning? No, precisely because he was once wonderful. Precisely because he reached out to me time and time again when I was in a difficult situation. I felt so sad. Can a person love two people at the same time? I asked myself this question. The answer is no. The last Weibo post on Owen's main account was, "I secretly bought a small cake for Violet again today." She was really happy. I stared at this Weibo post for a long time until my eyes were so sore that tears almost fell. Then I let out a long sigh. Goodbye, my former classmate Owen. Only now did I realize that you have been gone from my memory for a long time. I deliberately stayed at the company to work overtime these days. Even though there wasn't really any extra work to do. It's because I really don't want to go back and deal with Owen's false pretenses. I opened my phone and updated a Weibo post. With a photo of the Van Cleef Arpels bracelet I bought a couple of days ago. 5 minutes later, I indeed found that account in the browsing records. Cindy's account. When I was looking through Owen's secondary Weibo account repeatedly, I found that he followed this account. And I was particularly familiar with this account. Later, I found that this ID often appeared in the visitors of my main page. Coupled with the selfies on Weibo, I was sure that this person was Cindy. I originally thought that she might be innocent. Maybe she didn't know that Owen had a girlfriend. Maybe she was just a passive recipient. But now I'm sure that one of them is a cheater and the other is a mistress. Very well. They are a perfect match for each other. Then let's tie them together even more tightly. Cindy lost a lot of face in the luxury store last time and didn't get the bag she wanted. And now she saw my Weibo post like this. I guess Owen is under even more pressure this time. If he can't refuse his first love's request but really doesn't have the money, what will he do? At 9 o'clock, I got home on time. Owen came up to me somewhat obsequiously, showed me the meal he had just cooked, and said that he hoped he could hold me and sleep with me tonight. He said he was wrong and shouldn't have talked to me like that yesterday. He really missed me. I looked at the food on the table that was obviously from a takeout meal kit. And I also caught a glimpse of the obvious look of guilt flashing across Owen's face. I smiled, curled my lips, and agreed. Then I went back to my room pretending to put things away. I could feel Owen's intense gaze behind me. I left the door slightly ajar and then came out quickly. I lowered my head and pretended to eat the meal seriously. But I was actually thinking in my heart. When I went back to the room just now, I found that some of the expensive jewelry I bought last night was indeed missing. However, what Owen didn't know was that I had already put away the real things. And the ones I put out were all fake ones specially prepared to lure him into the trap. Moreover, I had already installed hidden cameras in every corner of the room. After dinner, under Owen's guilty gaze, I calmly and infuriately went back to my room. I took out my phone and looked through today's surveillance footage. The surveillance clearly recorded the scene of Owen rummaging around in a panic and stealing the things. Looking at it, I couldn't help but show a mocking smile. I think at this moment, I have finally exhausted all my feelings for him. Whether it's love or hate, there's nothing left. He is just a despicable stranger who stole my things. The next day, I clicked on Cindy's Weibo page again and found that she had also updated a post. Reward myself for working hard, so happy. The attached picture was exactly the few pieces of jewelry that I had lost. I almost laughed until tears came out. You two are really more vicious and stupid than each other. In the following days, I pretended that I didn't know anything and went to work and came back home as usual. I also treated Owen the way I used to. He just thought that I had cooled down. And he always stuck to me affectionately. We played around, talked, and laughed just like before. One day after work, Owen brought me a penguin doll. He said that he saw it in the shop window on his way home from work and thought I would like it. I raised a smile, took it, stared at it for a long time with my eyes lowered, and then said softly, "Thank you. I like it very much." Owen snorted softly. "Why are you saying thank you to me?" After that, he went to the kitchen to cook. After that incident, I stopped cooking. I explained to Owen that I was too tired and didn't want to cook anymore. So during this period, Owen had been clumsily learning to cook in the kitchen. I looked at him bussying around in the kitchen and was in a trance for a moment. Anyone who saw this scene at this moment would think that this was a sweet young couple in love. However, in reality, his feelings had been mixed with too much insincerity from the very beginning. Now that I'm wearing a mask and acting with him, my heart is just like a ruin. The food cooked by Owen tasted just so. I didn't feel like eating much after taking 2 bites. I put down my chopsticks and was about to leave. But Owen suddenly stopped me. He sat there, looking like a child who had done something wrong. Looking up at me with the soft broken hair on his forehead hanging down. I've spent a long time on it. Violet. Sorry. I'll try to make it more delicious next time. He suddenly spread his hands for me to see. His fair and slender hands were covered with burn marks. I looked at him quietly. Seemingly indifferent. Sweetness and playfulness can be faked, but true love and tenderness can't. The former Violet would never have failed to notice the wounds on his hands. Nor would she have been indifferent at this moment. Finally, having fulfilled my sigh, I said inferiorly, having fulfilledly. Put some medicine on it yourself. Then I turned around and left, leaving Owen sitting there in a daze. I realized that I couldn't delay any longer. So one day before going to work, I stopped Owen, who was about to go out. I told him seriously that I suspected our home might have been burglarized. I said that I had lost several very expensive pieces of jewelry, which added up to nearly 300. Are you on? Pretending to be angry and sad, I took out my phone and was about to call the police. Owen's expression visibly became flustered. He stammered. No. That can't be. The public security here is so good. Maybe you just put them somewhere and didn't notice? I shook my head and sighed. No. I've looked everywhere. They're just gone. There must be a thief. Well, you can accompany me to the police station. After all, the amount involved in the case is not small. If we catch him, he'll definitely go to jail. Owen's face turned even uglier. And he tried to excuse himself, saying, Violet, I really don't have time today. Can you hold off for 2 days? I will definitely accompany you to solve this matter. I sighed reluctantly. Well, okay. Let's talk about it when you're free. I watched him go out and waved my hand. You must make time to accompany me as soon as possible. Owen's embarrassed back staggered for a moment. I guessed that he was going to find a way out. When I got back to the company, my boss handed me an application form again. I have strong professional abilities, and the company has long wanted to promote me to be the supervisor of the branch company in the neighboring province. But because of Owen, I had politely declined several times before. This time, I took it solemnly and told my boss that I would consider it carefully. Suddenly, Owen sent a message saying that he was going on a business trip for 2 days and would accompany me when he came back. I rested my chin in my hand and thought that he was trying to buy some time and find a way out. Late at night, I was lying alone in the large apartment, staring blankly at the ceiling. Suddenly, I received a transfer of 300 yuan from Owen. Neither more nor less. At the same time, Owen sent a message, voluntary gift. Violet, I know you're in a hurry, but even if you call the police, it's highly likely that you won't get the things back. Don't be sad. This is the money I managed to scrape together. You can use it to buy new ones. I love you, Violet. I sneered. Owen really wants to have it all. He wants me not to call the police and also wants to play the role of a loving person. However, this was all within my expectations. The money I had spent on him over the years, plus the compensation for mental damage, added up to almost this amount. I didn't stand on ceremony and clicked to receive it, and replied with a simple okay. It immediately showed that he was typing on the other side. I waited patiently for a minute. But in the end, he didn't send anything. Owen must be in a real mess now. He probably borrowed money everywhere. I wonder if he borrowed money from his beloved Cindy. Thinking of this, I smiled with an ambiguous meaning and clicked into Cindy's Weibo account. Under her Weibo post showing off luxury goods, most of the comments were words of praise and envy. I scrolled for a while before I found a comment doubting the authenticity of these things. No offense, sister. This bracelet of yours doesn't look real. Did you get scammed? Cindy only replied to those comments of praise and envy. And this comment was ignored. I replied to this comment with my secondary account, saying, yeah, I don't think it looks real either. Cindy can be considered a small influencer. At this time, some of her fans also commented, how could it be? Stop being jealous. This blogger is really rich. Okay? There's no need for her to buy fakes. I think they're just jealous. I was just about to reply when I found that the user who questioned the authenticity of Cindy's goods had posted another message. I bought this at the brand's counter. I can only say that the imitation is really bad. I was just trying to be kind and remind you. Don't blame me if I speak harshly now. And she attached two pictures. One of her genuine bracelet and one of the payment record from the counter. Now no one questioned it anymore. And everyone fell silent. Before long, both my comment and the comment of that user were deleted. I guess that Cindy must have seen them. Before long, other voices of doubt appeared one after another. Cindy directly deleted the whole Weibo post. I think she and Owen must have had a big fight. I packed my things before Owen came back. I moved out of the rented house in advance and found a new place to live in a nearby city. The night I moved out, Owen came home. He had sent me messages cheerfully in the afternoon, but I didn't reply to any of them. Even the slowest person could sense that something was wrong. So Owen rushed back overnight. However, all that was left for him was an empty house. Lying on the brand new, comfortable and soft big bed, I scrolled through the dozens of messages Owen had sent me. I took a quick look and directly replied. I'm making room for you and Cindy to live in. I feel like I've wasted my 5 years of sincere love on a dog. Please don't come looking for me. Okay? I really find it disgusting. You two should stay together and don't go around causing trouble for others. After that, I directly deleted and blocked Owen on WeChat. I thought this matter was over. At least I didn't make public the fact that he had cheated on me. I thought I had already shown him some respect. To my surprise, not long after, I met Owen downstairs of the branch company. It was getting quite cold. Owen was wearing a windbreaker and a scarf that I had knitted for him before. His eyes were red as he looked at me. I frowned and tried to pass by him pretending not to know him. But Owen directly grabbed my wrist. Holding back my anger, I said in a low voice, "Let go." Owen stared at me firmly and refused to let go. His voice was hoarse. "Violet. Let's talk. You should at least give me a chance to explain." We were downstairs of the company. And at this time, some of my colleagues who had just gotten off work were already looking in our direction. Finally, I took him to the coffee shop next door. Owen sat opposite me, looking at me with a complicated expression. "Violet. It's not what you think between me and Cindy. I don't know when you found out, but she helped me a lot in the past. I only found out that she had a serious illness 2 years ago. So I started to have contact with her. I was just trying to help her and encourage her to pull herself together." I was really impatient and directly interrupted Owen's words. "Enough. Stop beautifying your cheating behavior." I took a deep breath and looked directly into Owen's eyes, wanting to scold him and wanting to cry out all my grievances at the top of my voice. Because even now, I still feel very wronged and think I was so stupid. However, at this moment, the burning fire in my heart had already turned into a ruin. I did something that you would see in an old-fashioned romance drama. Yes. I splashed the coffee in Owen's face. And I gave him a resounding slap. Ignoring Owen's stunned expression, I left the coffee shop. I no longer long for an explanation. Nor do I long for his humble apology and comfort. I don't care about this person at all anymore. I've got my compensation. People can change their hearts. And feelings can fade away. But money doesn't change. The moment I turned around and left resolutely, I felt something that had been bothering me in my heart suddenly dissipate. Perhaps at this moment, I have truly let go. I heard that later, Owen and Cindy didn't get together. On the contrary, they even started to fight each other. Owen demanded that Cindy return the money, while Cindy said that it was a voluntary gift from him and there was no reason for her to return it. Now it seems that they have even gone through the litigation process. When our mutual friends talked about this matter, they still looked sighing. But I wasn't really interested. I just smiled. After all, I already have a brand new life. The end of the full text.